Hello everyone, and welcome to the Squarous video tutorial for how to get started with investing on our platform. My name is Sam. I'll be walking you through this tutorial, so let's just get started. So we're going to get started with our homepage first. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. This is where you'll land when you come to our site for the first time. This is our picture that lets you know that you're on our site. Down here, this is just some quick blurbs of info that show that our platform is safe and connected and transparent. I just want to touch real quick on the safety aspect of it. We are registered with the SEC fully, and we are regulated fully by the SEC. Every single transaction on Squarous is also conducted offline with the help and verification of attorneys, so that also helps to make it very safe as well. Down here is our Browse Property section. This is just a quick section where you can quickly see new properties that get uploaded to Squarous. You could also see the properties from the investment section, but this is just a quick way to see what's new on our site at a glance. You can flip between flips or rental properties, depending on which you're in the mood to see. Rental properties are more long-term. They'll pay out income monthly, and flips are properties that are going to pay out once they get renovated or built or sold. Underneath that is insights sections. So this is just more quick blurbs of information. This is investors' insights. This is what pertains to you. It just shows more info on the site. And I would just like to make a note here and say that Squarous is completely free to use for investors. And down here, this is our Squarous Insights blog. As an investor, this is probably going to be your most powerful resource for our site. We post everything here. We post news articles. We post information articles. We announce webinars. Everything ever that pertains to our site we post here. All right, cool. So let's just start looking at properties. When you hover over investments, this drop-down menu will appear to show flip projects or rental projects. Now, we're going to focus on flip projects for this tutorial, so I'm going to click flip projects. So when I click it, you'll be taken to this page that says flips. It'll say flips, so it lets you know where you are. It'll be a brief description of what flips are. And over here, these are the projects themselves. I'm just going to start with 302 Tower, so I'm going to click in. And now we are on the project listing page itself. This is the project itself. This is all the information that the project has to offer. All the project listing pages look the same, and they're all designed to convey the most amount of information. So obviously you have your pictures. If there's more pictures, more will appear, and it'll play like a slideshow. This is the project address, and also underneath it is the interest term, how many shares are being offered initially on the property, how many shares are still available as per our inventory system, the interest rate on the property, the term in months, which is when the project will be finished, the funding goal, and the funding status, which is how many of those shares are still left as the available shares goes down as more people buy the property. So underneath that, you have the price per share. These are buttons to add things to the favorites, the compare list. You can ask a question to the property owner. You could also email the property to a friend. And this button prints the page for you in a convenient-to-read PDF. Down here is a full description of the property. They're as long as the seller wants to make them, but they convey a lot of information. These buttons down here, you can view the deed or view the budget. We'll get to that more in a second. And these down here are more specific specifications about a property that you will find useful. The most useful of which is the owner's equity section that I'm hovering over right here. Owner's equity is a measure in dollars of a fundraiser's ownership percentage in his property. This is very important because if anything happens with the project, you will be refunded from your investment by the owner's equity. The more owner's equity that a fundraiser has in the property, the better. And it's also important to note that owner's equity will only be visible in projects where the owner has an ownership percentage. Squarous does allow fundraisers to ask for funding for projects that they don't own yet. These projects tend to carry more risk, but every time you see a project with owner's equity listed, it usually indicates that the project carries less risk. This is the You May Be Interested In section. We try to match more properties that we think that you'll be interested in with what you've been browsing before. So the more you use our site, the more these will be refined. And these are just more properties that we think that you'd be interested in with investing. So anyway, let's click on View the Deed. But oh no, wait, we can't because we're not logged in. If you want to proceed on the site, in most places, you're going to need to make an account. This keeps everything secure and protected, and it's just good to have. I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. So I'm going to type my password. So now we're back on the project listing page, and now you'll see that both of these two buttons work. So I'm going to click View the Budget because I think that's a little more important for this tutorial right now. So I'm going to click View the Budget to get into it. And when you click it, you'll be taken to the budget. Now, this is the entire project in spreadsheet form. Every shred of detail is covered in here, and it lets you, the investor, know everything that the project is trying to do and is about. It's arranged in sections. This section number 1 here covers basic project information like the address and the rooms. Section 2 down here covers the funding information from Squarous. Section 3 down here covers if the fundraiser has another loan from a different source. And section 4 down here, which is probably the most important part of the project spreadsheet, covers the entire budget of how the fundraiser is going to spend the money that they get from Squarous. Very important section to read. It's the complete budget breakdown of the project. Underneath it is the grand total. That's everything from the budget section added up. And underneath that, in the last section, is the projected sale price in the EBI TDA, which is an indication of how much the property is going to sell for and also the projected profit from the property. Every single property has a budget spreadsheet. Every single project has one. We make the sellers fill them out when they have to submit the project to us. So let's get back to the main property listing page, and let's also look at the deed, because why not? On Squarous, we are as transparent as possible, so we show the deeds when we can. So let's get back out of here, and now we're back on the property listing page. Now I'm sold, so I'm going to buy this property. So I'm going to click Add to Cart. And when you do that, this window will appear. You can either close it or continue shopping or click somewhere out of it. You can use these buttons to increase or decrease the amount of shares that you want to buy. Viewing the cart takes you to the cart, or you can close the window and view the cart by clicking the cart button at the top of the page. So I'm going to do that. So when you click the cart button, it'll take you to the cart. It'll show you all of the properties that you have in your cart, along with their image, their name, the interest rate, how many shares you have and their quantity. I'm going to change the quantity here to increase it. So let's say now I want to buy 5 shares of this project instead of 1. That's fine. You can change it and click Update Cart, and you'll see now that everything's been updated with the right totals and the right everything else. So when you're ready to check out, very easy. Down here at the bottom right, there's a button that says Checkout. I'm going to click it. It'll take you to the checkout page. So this is the checkout page. If you already have an account with us, or you already filled in your address information, it'll pre-fill it for you. It does save your address information for your convenience for future transactions. If you don't already have this stuff filled out already, it'll ask you to do so in step 1 up here, but I already have this filled in, so I'm going to click Continue. When you do that, it'll take you to the next step. This is the payment step. Now, you'll notice there's no space for you to enter a credit card or a check or whatever. This is because you must always mail a check to an attorney. Squarous is very safe and secure, and we use attorneys to verify every transaction and to manage the projects. You can only pay for a project or shares for a project by mailing a check to an attorney. It's very safe, it's very secure, and everything's fine. There's also a section down here if you want to add a tracking number for your check when you mail it, and once you check out, you'll get an email saying exactly who to mail the check to, how much it's for, where it's supposed to go. Everything's covered in the email. So let's continue on to the next step. So now, with everything done, this is your final order confirmation step. Just one last time for you to check over what you're buying. So it'll show you the project name, the interest rate, how many you want to buy, and the total. And when you're done, click confirm when you want to check out and actually buy the property. So I'm going to do that. When you click that button, it'll say your order has been processed. Obviously, I have another order before this, so my order is number 2. This is just an invoice that you can print out or save that shows everything about your transaction. You have a transaction ID, the date added, the shares, the payment method, everything else. And if you go back to the My Account page, you could look at everything in your order history right here under the Investments section over to the left. This is your main order history window. This shows all the transactions that you can make. The status shows if it's pending, where we're still waiting for your check. It'll say completed once we receive your check and process your order. And you can even click View over here to view that same invoice again for your records. So everything is safe, everything is tracked, everything's secure, and you could look at very easily at your account and your previous transactions and see how your investments are doing. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Obviously, you can reach out to us in the future by clicking our contact page at the bottom or our instant chat also on our contact page. Please check out the Learn More section for more information if you need to. And thank you very much, and have a good day.